Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. It's Sunday. It's January 1st, 2023, right? It's amazing to think about it, but hey, Happy New Year to y'all. We do appreciate everybody that has come along with us and has come this far with us, okay? And genuinely appreciate everybody who tunes into these videos, because as you know, this is our devotional video for the week. It's an aspect of our channel that not a lot of people do, that may actually change eventually. That's another story. It may go to another channel, but that's not for now. But either way, what I do want to tell you again is genuinely thank you. We do love each and every one of y'all, and we'd love to hear from you. And I love doing these videos, so that's never going to stop. Okay, but let's get into it. We're going through the book of John. All right, so in the book of John, we're starting John chapter 12, and it's going to get into now the week or so before Jesus' betrayal and crucifixion. Okay, and it's going to get into some interesting things that I truly love, and it's part of the reason why I'm doing the study on the book of John, and why I'm going through the book of John the way I am, is because of how John writes about it. But let's get started with John chapter 12. This is an account here that all four Gospels have. Okay, all four Gospels go through this account. Matthew and Mark tell it one way, Luke tells it a bit of another way, and John tells it another way. They all tell essentially the same thing, but you also have to remember how they are. My belief is that Matthew, being a tax collector, may not have actually been there. If he was actually there, because he was still a disciple, but he was a tax collector as well, it doesn't mean he was actually at this event. But it means maybe he was, maybe he wasn't actually in the personal account. He may have been in this home, but not actually involved in what was going on. Mark's gospel essentially copies Matthew's, okay? And then Luke was not a disciple. Luke was not there. Luke gathered information from multiple sources to create his letter to Theophilus, okay? Doesn't mean it was inaccurate. It means it's a different account, okay? John, however, being one of Jesus' best friends, if not Jesus' best friend, was most likely right there beside Jesus, okay? And again, he gives a more personal account. He names names that was not named in the other three accounts. Okay, so that's the issue here with this account. Okay, but it's all truthful, it's all factual, and it's all the same story told in different manners. Okay, I want to be clear about that. So in John chapter 12, verse 1, it says, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus arrived at Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, who was later to betray him, objected. Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As a keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it. Leave her alone, Jesus replied. It was intended that she should save this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. All right, so there we have it. Jesus obviously had just, in John chapter 11, we dealt with Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead, and his sisters Mary and Martha. So here we have it, that Lazarus was at this dinner, and Martha was serving, and Mary was there. So it's implied that obviously these are his sisters, correct? Because there's several Marys throughout the Bible. Some might tell you that this Mary was Mary Magdalene. It was not, in my opinion, because Mary Magdalene means she was from Magdala. Okay, Magdala was a fishing village next to the Sea of Galilee. This Mary was Martha, Mary, Lazarus, brothers and sisters, who were at Bethany. Bethany was not the same area. Bethany was across the Jordan River from Jerusalem, 2 miles from Jerusalem, near the, gosh, I think it's the Dead Sea. I think that's what it is. But either way, 2 different areas. So therefore, probably not the same person, correct? But it's said in those 3 Gospels that she had led a very sinful life, and so that's why she came to Jesus with the perfume and had done all that. So that way, it's talking about her as somebody who was repentant, right? And the significance of this, though, for me, is that she had this perfume, very expensive perfume, that she then poured on Jesus' feet. The other 2 of the Gospels, maybe all 3 of them, well, 2 of the Gospels, I'm sorry. So Matthew and Mark said that she poured it on his head. She poured it on Jesus, right? So, so she took this perfume, she put it on his feet, and then what she done though was she had took her hair down and wiped his feet with her hair. Now, to me, that's very significant because a woman in that time, especially, was not supposed to do that, right? Her hair was not supposed to be unbound. The fact that she took her hair down and wiped his feet with her hair is very significant because that, first of all, was saved for a woman's husband. A woman's husband was the one supposed to see her hair. I think actually one thing I read said that this marriage ceremony, that was the first time she was supposed to take her hair down, was at the marriage ceremony, a bride for the bridegroom. That's very interesting, correct? Because Jesus is the bridegroom, the church is his bride. So we have here a believer who is part of the bride taking her hair down for the bridegroom. So that was awesome to me. Very, 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 very significant thing. Again, that John writes. That's just the way John likes to write things. Pretty cool. But for there, you see a woman who was sinful, who became a believer, and who had been forgiven of her sins. And she was also, okay, so let's just say it's Mary. It's Lazarus' sister, Mary. Probably also very thankful to have her brother back living. Okay, so that's another worshipful reason to be worshipful. Okay, from Mary. But then we see one disciple who gets mad about this. His name Judas, right? And so we all know that Judas was the one who betrayed Jesus. So now Judas, though, is portraying himself as a disciple of Jesus. He wants to be portrayed and seen as somebody who was holy, a good guy, right? Just in general. But the fact that John said this, by the way, in his writing was pretty cool. John said, no, he didn't really care. He was the keeper of the money, and he used to steal from the money bag. So John knew this, right? A fellow disciple of Jesus, knew what was going on with Judas. He knew that Judas was dishonest. So the application of this story for me is this. Simply put, that your character will reveal itself. Okay? No matter what you want to portray, no matter what you got going on, no matter what happens, no matter what situation, your character will eventually reveal itself. And by the way, Jesus already knew it anyways. Right? Sometimes people around you can see it. Jesus is for sure going to know it. But eventually, your character will reveal itself, no matter what you want to portray. Judas wanted to say, I'm a good dude, but yet he was a thief, and obviously he betrayed Jesus. Mary, on the other hand, was possibly seen as a terrible individual who had a history. She got some baggage, right? I mean, as a guy, you know when women got that baggage, you don't want to be around them sometimes. Certainly don't want to have a relationship with them. They got too much baggage. But she had some baggage. And Jesus had forgiven her of that stuff. And a lot of times as human beings, we don't forgive them people of that baggage, do we? We don't look over it. We don't have grace for that. But yet, her character, her newfound character in Jesus, was a worshipful one. Was somebody who pulled down their hair, which is, by the way, a shameful thing too, for that time. She pulled down her hair to wipe his feet. She gave up her most valuable possession, most likely, and wiped his feet with her hair in worship. So her character was revealed as somebody who was humble, who loved Jesus, who cared about Jesus, who would give up herself, her valuable possessions, lay them at Jesus' feet to worship him, to honor him, to thank him. So while she was humble, Judas was a thief, right? This story is one to say that this. In 2023, let your character be revealed as a Mary. You know, because we've all got stuff we've been forgiven of. We've all got that baggage. We've all got things that in our history that we're ashamed of, that we wish that we'd never done. Though it may be part of our story, it may have helped shape who we are. It may be lessons that we learned that we value at this point. We wish we didn't have to go through those hard things to learn them, really. And we honestly wish that wasn't one of the things that Jesus had to forgive us of. So what I'm telling you here is, in 2023, let your character be worshipful. Let your character be humble. Let your character be revealed as a follower of Jesus Christ, whose life worships him, and whose life tells a story of not only the grace you've been given, but the grace that God has had for each and every one of us. That tells the story of the Son of God. His name is Jesus, right? We just celebrated his birth. We talked about the story of Jesus and what really happened and everything else. But the true story of Jesus did not stop at the manger. It did not stop in the life that he lived. It did not stop with the crucifixion and the resurrection. The true story of Jesus is still being told because he's still working and he's still doing things in our life. And he's still changing us. He's still shaping us. He's still working on us. So let's let our character be revealed as telling the story of Jesus in our life and who he's making you to be today, tomorrow, until your purpose is over, until you stop breathing on this earth. All right, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it. If you have a prayer request or praise reports or just anything, any comments, just leave them below for us. We'd love to hear from you, pray for you. And while we haven't responded to the comments very often lately, we do read them, okay? So thank y'all for watching. My name is Jason, Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.